like East versus West,
Yeah.
I'd say East.
Easily the East. It's not even close. The West is decimated, I would say.
Oh, by far the East. The West is depleted of at least proven majors talent. You'll see plenty Origin captains stealing Radius players. Some Origin players will probably go to some Centra teams. It's just the state of where we're at. We have 4 Centra teams. We had 4 Centra teams as a ceiling for us simply because we don't have the amount of talent that Radius currently has. We don't have the player base yet. It's still taking us a long time to catch up in terms of developing talent. So yeah, but by far the East is still currently far, far ahead. I don't think that gap will ever change until something like Tag Pro Next happens, where we have a mass increase in players.
I would say the East is going to be stronger this season, especially with Legman moving back to the East. And then me, obviously, going back to the East. Huge impact on skill, am I right? I think the East has more good minors players who are going to be moving up than the West. So I think they'll be able to fill in any gaps that Majors East teams had this season.
Oh, I think the East by far. Because what you have, Legman for Pro Major NPC, you have me, you have High, who's ridiculous, Stan, who's the best defender in the East right now. Grief doesn't play. Like, compared to previous seasons, I think this round of, player captains is ridiculous.
It's hard to say right now because I think there's still 3 NPCs in the West that haven't picked a player. Curry, Trobal, and Choxy. So I'd probably go with the East for now.
I haven't looked at the signups all too much yet, but I mean the East has to definitely be the stronger side in terms of captains / NPCs. But like when you have people like Stan and Legman and High,
I think this season the East is just completely stacked, especially compared to last season where it was a little bit weaker in my mind.
there's nobody on the Western side that's, well, I guess there's Fatal, maybe All Tiger, but I still would take any of those 3 over anybody from the West.
Like overall, the East this season is just way better.
And LeBron too. Forgot about LeBron.
As it stands, I still think the East has a slight edge, but not by much. I think it's pretty similar this season.
The East. I think there's a lot of talent in the captains that are coming this season. I know LeBron is one of the best offenders in the East, and same with High and Legman. And Wasich Pro has been a little rusty, but I think once he gets in playing form, he'll be just as good as he was before. I just think there's more threats on the East than there is in the West right now.
Probably the East. I mean, I am way more familiar with the East because I played there so much. So I'm more familiar with it, and I'm probably biased towards it.
I would definitely go with the East. I think they have definitely all quality captains that have experience either playing at the top of the game or captaining at the top of the game.
Origin might be one of the toughest divisions again. Depends who Curry and Choxy take. So those 2, I can't really comment on that because that's 2 guys who haven't chosen their players yet. Depends entirely on who they take. I think overall the East might be stronger than it was last season. I think the East was a bit weaker because you had 2 really weak teams. One of them was kind of unfortunate, but you had Dyson and Adrenaline Spikes, who are both not good, which kind of added other teams. So I think overall the East right now is looking a lot better than it was. But I'd say division-wise, for me, if I had a choice and ping wasn't an issue, I would choose to go almost anywhere other than Origin right now.
What do you think makes Origin stronger than like a division of High, Stan, Legman, and OK then?
I don't know. Frankly, Origin also depends on whether Trobal plays or NPCs. That plays on it too. It's just I'm more going off of what I know. Whereas High, I've never played a game ever against High or Stan, or I played a minors game against LeBron. So I'm just going off of what I know. Whereas Dodds Fall as an individual isn't like the most outstanding player, but he commands his team. Trollball, whatever, no matter what you think about Trollball as a player, his teams are always successful. With the exception of Season 5, which wasn't his team. His teams are always formidable. And then there's Fatal, where even if Fatal turns out to be a bad kid drafter and drafts a terrible team, it's still Fatal, and I don't want to play against Fatal.
I don't think I can say before the draft, because, I mean, like we saw last season, there are Eastern players who can go to like Origin teams and sort of shift the balance of power. Obvious examples like Mandino, you know, all those guys. So, I mean, I definitely think that just because of the like Tag Pro and I guess the population distribution of like the United States itself, like there are more players in the East, so there's generally going to be more talent in the East. And I also think there's a slightly higher concentration of like elite talent that is closer geographically toward like Radius. So I would expect the Eastern Conference to sort of continue the trend that we've seen in all past seasons except for Season 9, where I guess we saw a Western team win, but with Eastern players entirely. So I don't really see any reason that trend would not continue into the future.
Ooh, this season of Cap, everybody's ridiculously skilled. It's amazing. Naturally, the West is better because we're all more chill and just more creative, more dynamic, better personalities. Yeah, East is a bunch of fuckboys. West carries.
So I'm going to be looking for raw skill first of all, but I don't want anyone that has such a high ego that they wouldn't take what I'm saying. If I can't find anyone that I can trust on defense, then I might just switch to defense.
So I saw you say in the announcement thread when your captaincy was announced that you think you're overrated. What made you say that?
I think I'm overrated because I think the thing I'm best at is exploiting the defense's weaknesses and mistakes. So when I go against like a solid defender, then I usually get shut down for a while. But when most people see me, most people are not very solid defenders like Stan and Grief Seeds. So they see me basically wrecking everyone because they're all making mistakes and they think I'm good.
If there's a defender who doesn't make those mistakes, then probably anybody would get shut down by them, no?
Maybe, but usually in game I try to go for those plays anyway, because I just assume that people will make those mistakes and I don't really adjust to the defender.
What do you think of Raven's NPC pick?
I kind of understand that they used to be teammates, and Outstretch Pro he's a very good player. He's probably rusty right now, but I think he could be one of the top players.
What do you think your past teams were lacking? Why haven't you won a Super Bowl yet?
I don't think I'm that good.
So are you just not going to win this season?
I don't know. I have no idea how I'm going to run my team this season. It might be really laid back, or I might run a lot of practices. Depends on the team I draft. I want to win just as much, but I just don't get that upset when I lose.